my beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of the Hustle Coast podcast. Today, we have an absolutely great guest on the show. He is the founder of Humble House Records, DJ, producer, and remixer. I give you DJ Keytone.
Hey, thank you,
Hey. Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's been a long time coming. I know we tried to set up a meeting before where I was going to come to Tampa, where, I'm from and where you're home based out of around that area. But
Yeah.
some things came up. We couldn't make it work. So I'm super happy and blessed to have you on finally, man.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, man, I'm glad you're busy. I'm glad everybody's getting some work in, doing what they're doing. And I see you hustling with the music, so I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. So in my interviews, I always like to start from the very beginning. Where were you born? Where are you from? What was your childhood like? All those things.
Yeah, sure, man. So I grew up in Germany. My father was in the military, so
Oh,
I
wow.
did a lot of time in Germany, and that's where I got my music from. My dad
Okay.
listened to a lot of world music, I guess you can call it. So
Sure.
Sade, you know, there's a German hip hop group that probably nobody's ever heard of, really, but we would listen to music like that. Um, and so we would go between there and Miami. So imagine listening to that kind of music and then being thrown into Miami where you get in like booty music and Uncle Luke, because this was in the 90s, so Uncle Luke
Right.
and you're getting, freestyle. And so we would go between that and then I had family in Detroit. So we were all over, and
Wow.
so I was really, soaked into a music culture early, you know,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's where I
amazing,
just
man.
grew up my passion with music. I've always been around all different kinds.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I can actually say that I have been to Germany because my brother was in the military. So I got to go
Oh,
check it out
nice.
over there. Yeah. And bro, Germany is obviously, I'm sure the era was a little different because I went more recently than the 90s, but Germany is pretty sick, man. And I did see they had a lot of musical stuff going on, and a lot of people there, in my opinion, they were listening to like your EDM and your house. Like that was kind of what the people that I saw were listening to.
Yeah, it's like you'll go into it's almost like I just came back from New York and I walk into a restaurant, man, and they're pumping house music. Like I'm like, man, you don't find that down here. Down here if
Right.
if they are going to a club, you'll probably hear like rap or you'll
Right.
hear pop. You hear
Yeah.
like Justin Timberlake or something. Now, not up there, and not in Germany. You're catching them.
Right.
You're probably hearing something you've never heard before. You know.
Yeah, yeah, true that, man. So I can imagine that, going from that to Miami, that's definitely like a crazy blend.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then you get the Latin influence in there, and
Right.
it's wild, man. It was wild.
For sure, man. So about what age did you live in Germany till?
I was about middle school. I would be back and forth between there and Miami.
Okay.
I had a stint in Miami, and then we had a stint in Germany, and then back and forth actually. But probably about eighth grade is when my dad settled um in Florida, and we did a small stint in Oklahoma. So I had a little bit of Midwest in me. So
That's
yeah,
tight,
yeah.
man. Okay, cool. And at what point did you get to Tampa or the Tampa area?
Right at the end of eighth grade, right going into ninth grade.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, we lived in Lakeland actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I settled in St. Pete about 10 years ago.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I really love St. Pete. I was born in Clearwater, but obviously Clearwater, St. Pete, Tampa, it's all kind of, the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, they all say it's something different, but it's all
Yeah.
really we got all the same styles.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I feel like with Clearwater, like on Clearwater Beach, like with Shepherds and maybe even some other small spots, maybe not like it might not be big, but maybe like some of the other places like you mentioned like New York and stuff, but I do feel like there are some elements of like your electronic house music in some of those places.
Oh yeah. And you mean like in Tampa?
Yeah, yeah, like in
For
Clearwater, maybe St. Pete.
yeah, dude, Clearwater used to really be a hot spot for house music. It was like the house spot. You know,
Oh, wow.
Shepherds back in the day. I had a residency out there, man, and we would do all kinds of shows, sundown production, sundown, sundown sounds. They would do all kinds of productions out at Shepherds, man. Have all kinds
Wow.
of acts. Yeah, it was like a big competitor to the Ritz. I believed. I thought so personally.
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. How would you say that things have, because obviously, you've been doing this and DJing, and we're going to get into your full story and, all of that. But how do you feel like the progression of music just in that area has kind of developed over time?
Oh, big time, big time. I can definitely see that Clearwater and St. Pete, downtown St. Pete's popping, and they're
Yeah.
actually moving with the musical times. I'd say a lot of places aren't holding a crowd to just hip hop anymore. You
Right.
gotta play some house.
Yeah.
You gotta play a lot of house now to
Right.
keep a party going. Um, and I don't know if that's a testament to um, the quality of other genres at the moment,
Right.
but maybe.
Yeah.
And Coachella, you can see with Coachella with how they used majority of their lineup was EDM this year. So
Yeah.
I can see it happening in smaller cities like St. Pete.
Yeah, for sure. And even like big songs I've noticed in other genres, I feel like it's gotten so much bigger and like more popular to remix them in some type of EDM or electronic
Mm.
style, and then it just goes up even more.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think if the other artists aren't remixing their songs into a house genre or some sort of EDM of some sort, then they're definitely missing out on the market.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Okay, so back to your story. So you moved to the Tampa Bay area around Lakeland after 8th grade. So did you go to high school in Lakeland or?
Yeah, I went to Lake Gibson and then Kathleen. Actually, I
Okay.
ended at Kathleen. Yeah,
Kathleen, nice, nice. And at
yeah.
what point did you know that you wanted to be a DJ?
Oh man, not right after high school, but I've been in music my whole life. Like literally, I used to set up my family's like speakers. I worked at like Radio Shack and doing all kinds of things that were, and somehow, now I wasn't quite with the music, but I was not far. And
Right.
I was truck driving for a while, and I felt like I had started getting into personal development and um a lot of motivation. Speakers at that time were just getting thrown at me, and I'd learned so much, and I was like really unhappy at truck driving, and I was like, what else am I good at? Luckily, a few years before I had got to that point, I was like, I met up with a guy. His name was Don Pablo, DJ Don Pablo,
Mm.
pretty big DJ around the area, and he I don't know how he remembered me, man, but one night I was lit. I don't drink anymore, but I was lit that night. And I saw him spinning and I was like, "Man, I know what I don't know what you're doing, but I know what like I feel it. I feel what's happening. I feel what you're doing to the people. Like I understand this." And he was like, "You come check me out. Come give it a try." I gave it a try. I was hooked immediately,
Wow.
and he blessed me with the ability to make some money in this industry. And I was like, I got to the point where I was making it, if not more, the same amount as when I was truck driving by playing music for people. And I was like, you know what? let me, and plus these motivational speakers, they don't talk me right up out of that job, dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they motivated me so hard to get out of there.
Right.
So I had made the transition to full time DJing on a whim and a prayer, and read whatever 401k I had left, I took it out, and I invested it all into my gear, which is still blessing me to this day. 7 years
Nice.
later, 8 years later.
That's an investment right
Uh,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I just went for it, man, and I felt like I wanted. And then after DJing, it didn't feel like it was quite it. It wasn't like the it for me. I just felt like it was a gateway, a stepping stone.
For sure. 100%. Nah, man, that's awesome. And I know that because I listen to a lot of motivational audio myself. So I know that a lot of times we'll hear it preached like, oh, you need to take that leap and you need to jump and all of this. But it's different when you hear it and then you actually do it. And when you're right in the middle of it, I'm sure that could have been a scary time when you first maybe would have made that transition.
Yeah, yeah, it was. But something just told me that it was that, or I actually sat down and I wrote. I have a notebook. I call it the think tank, and it had two options in it. It had either being a DJ or something in the entertainment industry, whether it be trying to go and act or something. And I was like, I don't think I can. I think it's too late for that. And then the other was becoming some type of an entrepreneur in the movie industry. Um, so I decided to just stick with music and try to become an entrepreneur that way.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, man. And congratulations, because this podcast, it's called the Hustle Coast Podcast because it's all about hustlers, go-getters, high achievers, entrepreneurs, and people who make waves, man. And that's the reason I
Or
wanted to have you on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I
Yeah.
love entrepreneurship. I love business. So when I finally understood that in the music industry, I was like, oh man, it all makes sense. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So getting back to your story, so DJ Don Pablo was the first one to show you kind of the DJ. So from there, did he kind of mentor you? Was there another DJ that you found where you like were really to get in depth learning, or was it all just your own research and stuff?
No, I've had several mentors over, even until now. I don't necessarily have one particular mentor at the moment. I learned bits and pieces from everybody, but in the beginning, I definitely had like dedicated mentors like Don Pablo for my open format. I learned a lot about house music from Blake Blaze, um, and even like how to utilize house music in club settings,
Yeah.
and you know, Lance Hallmark, Luis Martinez. Uh, and then I had felt like DJing wasn't enough for me. I had to produce in order to get to another level, I felt. So I decided to get a production mentor. I was blessed with dude, let me tell you, I couldn't, so the only computer I had was what I bought with the 401k I told you about.
Yeah.
And I knew again that I had to produce music. I could not produce on that laptop. It was strictly just for DJing. It wasn't even a Mac. It was like some, I don't know what it was. It was some PC, and I had to learn how to produce. And so a buddy of mine saw that yearning in me, and he gifted me his laptop, a MacBook,
What?
to
Wow.
like start producing. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, like up until now, I was just talking to Sam about this, and she's my partner with the record label. She's also an entrepreneur and a hustler. She's fierce, bro, fierce.
Nice.
So like I was talking to her about like everything from from that moment to now has just been a complete blessing. Like I couldn't have asked for any other way for things to have been lined up to be successful in music until now.
Yeah.
So he gifted me that laptop. and I started producing music, and I had to find a mentor in that. I got Keith, Too Tall Keith. He really showed me the ropes of the industry, the music business, behind the scenes, not and how to make music. Because before I could barely put together a kick and a clap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Um, but he showed me how to do that, and then I've had several other mentors along the way. David Novacek over in in Europe. He's mentored
Wow.
me. Yeah, so I've
Nice.
just taken on a lot of people, to get to the point that I'm at now of discovering myself. Now that I've got the tools and know how, I'm at the point now of just delivering myself in the music.
For sure, man. 100%. And it sounds like you really figured out like how to search or pinpoint the people that you needed to take you to the next level, and that's a skill in itself, because a lot of people can be too either like prideful or just uncoachable or unwilling to search for a mentor to humble yourself in certain situations. So it definitely is a testament to you that you were able to seek out those people to help elevate your game.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I was listening to these guys, and while they were motivating me, they leave little sprinkles of something that you should take with you, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of those sprinkles said the same thing, and it was always keep a mentor or somebody that you can learn from by your side, or
Yeah.
somebody smarter than you, so that you can, go. Because if you keep those kinds of people around you, you have to learn. You'll learn, or you're just a dummy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, you are a dummy if
I
you don't learn, man.
don't.
That's a fact. All
I
right,
don't mean it
man.
in a negative way, but
Yeah, no, for sure. Like people who are stuck in their ways and they're not willing to again start from
yeah,
zero and build yourself up, it's like you
yeah,
can't grow with that type of mindset,
yeah, exactly,
you know? Absolutely.
exactly.
So let me ask you this. What are your favorite types of events to DJ?
Oh man, I love like festivals. I love house music clubs. If it's a dedicated house music club, I know I'm going there for house music. Count house or EDM, you can count me in. You can guarantee there's a grin on. I guarantee there's a grin on my face. Um, I'll tell you my least favorite now is weddings. I don't really like the
Mm,
pressure anymore of weddings. Weddings saved me. Weddings were gave me the ability to really make it to this point.
right.
Clubs don't pay as well, but weddings will take care of you. They will.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you really got to be on your P's and Q's with those, because
Right.
that's somebody's special day. You got to be kind of perfect.
Right, for sure. And I can imagine with the weddings too, like it's probably more than just playing music. It's probably like this is the daddy daughter dance. This is where we
Yeah.
need you to tell everybody to do this or stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
become an MC. If you want to become a better MC, you'll do some weddings.
Right, right. I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
For
I
sure,
was
man.
not a I was not on the mic often in the beginning of my career, and now I can confidently use a mic,
Right.
but I don't wanna. Still, I'd rather play some good groovy music.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just blow people's head off with the set.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I feel that, man. So what's your process when preparing a set? And are you more planned out with it, or do you kind of feel it in the moment?
So I've had two different stances on this in my career. I was on the side before where I would just wing a lot of it. Not weddings, you can't wing that because
Right.
they want certain things. But like if I was playing a house set, I would I used to get a good grasp of what I know I'm gonna need, plus a little more, and just you know. But now working with Sam, she's my partner with a duo that we've created together, and she likes to prepare for her sets, and so I've gotten into a routine where okay, what we'll do is not quite prepare, with an order, but we'll put a good group of songs together, practice those songs to make sure like no matter what we do, it's a good time, you know. So we've gotten into that because I've there have been times where I'll go in and wing it. And I realized that, oh man, I pick a song at the moment that I don't need energy to drop, but I didn't know that the energy was going to drop. You know, whether the keys are matching or keys are going upward, the song itself could be a still stagnant song. And I wouldn't know that if I didn't practice or have a good knowledge of the music. So now I'm on the side of where I like to get a good group of songs that I can practice with. I know what's what, and I can have a good time rather than winging it like I used to.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so for you, when it comes to like, booking your clubs and your events, do you do all the booking yourself as well?
Yeah, yeah, man. So not only do I book for myself, but I have a roster of DJs, open format DJs that I give out to different residencies. I put them in different places. So I've always thought to myself that it should be. I always thought to myself that I will always need a team.
Yeah,
The better, the more people I have on my team, the better that we can get the reach, the reach that we
yeah,
need. I got my kids
for
and
sure.
everybody are all over here.
Oh, what's going
They're over
on,
here
guys?
watching me.
Yo, yo. That's awesome, man.
They're over here setting
For
up
sure.
lights and stuff.
Nice. That's awesome, man. For sure. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So speaking of that and the importance of a team, what inspired you to start your own label?
Oh, dude. So I had got sick and tired of record labels telling me that this music wasn't good enough for their label. Tried and true, it made people dance, but no matter what I did, there was, there's a game out here in the music industry. There's a serious game. It's business. I think is just like strategy and just like chess. That if your pieces don't quite fit for somebody else's bigger game, then you could really just feel it in the dumps. And Humble House was my way to give that underdog a chance at, putting their music in front of people and us leaving a legacy at the same time in the scene. You know,
For sure.
I never had something to give, and this was my way to give, and
Yeah.
also to give to my kids and pass down to, I have 7 kids, man. So
Oh,
somebody,
wow.
yeah, somebody
Nicely
is
done,
going to be
man.
musically, thanks, is going, one of them is going to be musically inclined or want a
Statistically, at least one of
business.
them.
I got at least
Yeah.
one out of,
I
so
like it.
it's a legacy for me. It's a legacy thing.
For sure. So when you started choosing or signing DJs to your roster or even, producers to your roster, like what are some of the things that you look for?
Ah, man, that's a good question. So we don't care anything about their following. Um, before, I'll tell you, before when we first started, we didn't care anything about their following. But I'll tell you why we're looking at certain. It's not like we're turning down all of them, but what we're going after this year is different from what we were trying to attract then, right?
Right.
So in the beginning, when we first started Humble House Records, we wanted everybody who wanted to produce high quality music to come to us. You know, give us your the ones that you've tried to sign, they haven't been signed, but they're great quality. I know you're a great producer. That's what we're looking for. We've been blessed to have received, loads of talented producers in the area who want to get their name out there or who want a show to play. Because not only were we getting your music we wanted to put you in front of people so that you would play that music that you signed to us to them, because we felt it was good. We know it'll work in the scene.
Right.
So, thank you. So, we wanted to attract that. And now what we're looking for, so we still have that coming in, of course. It's an avenue. But we want to elevate Humble House Records now through going so that we can show the people what we're looking for. Like, we've got Los Padres on this year. They're one of our first bigger signings that we went out and got. We gave them a show. We put them in front of people. We've got over, I don't have the number. Actually, I could look at the numbers real quick. We've got probably over 400 or 500 pre-saves for them,
Wow. It's big.
before their song drops, which is in 2 days, So those 500, pre-saves are gonna hit all at one time on Friday, and hopefully give them exactly. We're gonna hopefully give them a good boost. But this is what we want to show the bigger artists out there, that that's why we're coming to grab you. Not only do we want your music, but we want to put you in front of a crowd. We want to put promotion to it, and this is what is all that's going to trickle down into all those other guys that have been, the underdog per se, and their music campaign so far,
For sure. So let me ask you, and I don't want to make anybody on your roster feel bad, but is there any names because high performers, they deserve to get their name dropped and stuff like this. So is there anybody that you can think of other than yourself who's just been doing it right that you want to shout out on your roster?
Absolutely, brother. Oh man, Alejandro, first and foremost, the number one guy who has repped Humble House since I've known him. Hey. He came into I'm telling you, things just line up. He came into our label after the first year rotated. He was at the very end of that one. He came through, and the guy's been signed to Spinnin'. The guy's been signed to, looking at Armada, Sony, and he saw what we were doing, and he just jumped on our train, bro, and immediately just puts in just as much work, if not more than what we do. Gave me connections in the industry that I would have never had if I hadn't known him. Not only him, we have Factory. Factory has been signed to Insomniac. Actually, he's still signed to Insomniac. And he came on. I think his song had 75 to 80,000 plays last year.
That's big.
For our label, and that's before our promotion kicks in, Right. So it was a great year last year. It was a great year last year. We had some good signings with those two for sure. Rick Carbonell, awesome. He's pretty big. Angie, got a big supporter of female DJs and female producers. Anika Diark, she came on. She's got thousands I think she's got about 2,000 plays on her last drop with us.
Nice.
Talls, she's been putting in work. She's out in Salt Lake City. Man, I could keep going on. We got some Luke Lethal. We got some hitters, man. We got some really good talent on the roster.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I think actually Luke Lethal was somebody that I had seen on Instagram and heard some of his stuff, and then I realized that you two were connected and whatnot. So shout out Luke Lethal, shout out to all your heavy hitters, man. Keep winning, bro. We love winners on this side and high performers, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, big shout out to Seraphim too. He's on the label, just signed this year. He's a pretty big name as well. Yeah, nice, man. I love the heavy hitters. They're all doing work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's funny because for me, I'm a sales guy. I've been in sales since I was 18. And I was just having a conversation with somebody earlier today. And I was telling them, I was like, back in the day, when you're in any sales job, some of them is still like this today. But mainly back in the day, if you're a high performer, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like if you need to take a couple extra breaks, if you got to do, you know what I mean? Like you earned that, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
for
yeah.
sure,
I
man.
used to be
For
in
sure.
sales as well. I mean, I guess I still am. I guess.
Right. Right. Sales is kind of everything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Okay. So let me ask you this. What's your biggest lesson that you've learned so far in running a label that maybe somebody or anybody knows about, that nobody might know about?
Oh, you know, running a label is. I didn't think that it would be so time consuming, but I mean, even with the team that we have a great team, but it is, man, if you don't steer that ship, it will just float in the harbor, you know? And I've found that to be true with anything that I do, you know?
Right.
But running a record label is really, really like you can, if you don't really pay any attention to it, it'll just, drop. You know, you can see it in streams, you can see it in anything, you know. But
Yeah.
I really did. I thought it would just be okay. You send me the music, I'll put it to something, and it'll go somewhere, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
man,
Yeah, no, I can imagine, man. And that's probably not even including like all of the paperwork that I can presume is also include, that also has to be done and
don't
like,
get me started.
split sheets and
The
all that,
finance
right?
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Financially, to run a record label is not cheap.
Yeah.
I invest a lot of money into Humble House Records. Still to this day, we're not quite at the level where it's all just business money from music coming in. Like
Right.
I gotta put my heart and soul into this, on the pieces that haven't quite caught up. Like we
Right.
just started publishing this year, and to
Mm.
do that, you've got to invest. You've got to copyright your things. You've got to
Right.
split sheet your things, like you said. You've got to be meticulous.
Yeah.
So all of these things are not cheap to do. You
Yeah.
know.
No, 100%, man. I know that I've had to deal with a lot of that stuff myself being a, music artist, and it can definitely sometimes be a lot, I've had to ask a lot of questions about a lot of the paperwork stuff, so I know how hard that can be.
Oh yeah. I got a guy now. He's doing our publishing for us. Just because I'm not a big paperwork guy. I like to just do. I'm a doer, and I feel like paperwork is just a lot of sitting.
Yeah.
So
It's funny, man, because me and you are alike in that aspect. Like, bro, I'm fine with selling. I'm fine with talking. I'm fine with making it happen. But man, do I not want to sit there and fill out the paperwork, brother.
last thing. That's last on my list.
Yes, sir. Me too. All right. So how do you balance supporting your own creativity and then of course also running the business? Like how do you find time for both or how do you split it up?
Yeah, great question, man. Because this year is actually the year that I don't split them. I'm gonna end one. Maybe not end one. I'm gonna heavy pause one. And I made a decision early or late last year. So I have this. You know how you can have on Instagram. You have a channel, and the people who really fuck with you are in your. I don't know. I'm sorry. Excuse me
Yeah, no,
if you
you're
can't
good, bro.
curse.
Run it. Run it. You're good.
Um, but the people who really, really true to you and your art are in your channel. And
Yeah.
so I announced to those people that are in my channel about late last year that I was going to release my album, my first album, my debut album this year. And after I did that, I'm solely focusing on heading as CEO of Humble House Records. That ship, and I'm going to
Nice, man.
dedicate my 100% focus on developing a few artists, which I've already signed the three that I'm going to take on this year.
Wow.
Um, I'm going to develop these three, and I'm going to head Humble House Records in a direction that I know it can go if I give it 100% focus.
100%, man. That's epic, man. That's really cool.
Thank you. Thank
I know that's gonna pop for you, bro. I mean, you've already done so much, so I know that once you get that focus just on one thing, it's gonna take off even more, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm wishing the same for you.
yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. 100%,
Of course.
100%. So, let me ask this: if you could sign any DJ in the world who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Right now, I think vintage culture is gonna have to be at the top of my list.
Nice.
Um, yeah, vintage culture for sure. But
For sure.
I got some like some obscure type too. Like I know Sam would want to put like DJ Heartstring or something. I should
Nice.
ask her. Hang on, can I bring her? Can I bring her? Like
Bro,
she's
bring her on,
definitely
bro.
one her. Sam, Sam, come here real quick. Okay, who? Hold on. You want to here? Ask her real quick. You should ask her.
Hey,
Hello.
hey
Hey.
Sam, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. I cannot complain. We're having a great interview here. So I just asked
I love
DJ
it.
Keytone a very important question, I guess you could say, and he immediately said, "Hey, let me bring Sam in." So this is the question: If you could sign any DJ in the world, past or present, who would it be?
Ooh, past or present? Probably. I have two. Could I have two?
Yeah, you can have two.
Okay. Probably Barry Can't Swim
Mm.
and DJ Heartstring.
Yeah, he said you were gonna say DJ Heartstring.
Yeah, that's my
Absolutely.
favorite. I'm really into like the Euro dance, trance, techno movement that's going on. So they're like a big inspiration to me for that.
Oh, that is amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been talking all about you and how you guys are partners and it's just really cool. I really like what you guys are doing.
Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
works really hard. It shows. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you and maybe, maybe one day
Yes.
I could have you come on the podcast as well and we could get your full
I would love
story as
that.
well. Yeah,
Yeah, of
for
course, I
sure.
would love that. All right, well, have a great rest
Absolutely.
of your interview.
All right.
It was
Thank
great
you.
meeting
You
you.
too. Same to you. Thank you.
Hey,
You were right,
yeah,
man. You were right.
yeah. I figure I knew what she would want, but yeah, she's without her, Humble House would have died, 2 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago,
Yeah, for sure.
because it was just so much. It was so much, and
Yeah.
she really took the other side of the part, of what I couldn't do. She really took a hold of that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I know like when you're I guess you could say leading a charge or leading a team or you have a specific goal, having a person who is solid and who can do the things that you can't or don't want to or just can help, a lot of times, man, that can definitely make all the difference. So for sure, that's
Oh
great to
yeah,
hear.
oh yeah. I definitely need that team. I love my team, man. My team is everything.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So let me ask this, and pretty soon we're gonna move into. I want to ask you some, I guess you could say more questions on leadership and all that. I want to get into that a little bit more. But before I do that, is there any artists, maybe not necessarily DJs, because again, I know you're a DJ, so mainly what you look for is DJs and producers. But is there any artist that you've seen in your area or around that area that you're like, you either really like their music or you see them doing their thing, you're like, man, they're working?
Oh yeah, for sure. So Alejandro is number one for me.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
that guy is going to be a superstar if he, um, catches wind. If somebody catches the wind, the proper people catch wind of Alejandro, he's going to be a star.
Shout out
Um,
Alejandro.
oh yeah, big ups to Alejandro. Um,
Nice.
Makobo is another one that's really working hard. He's getting booked in Miami a lot.
Mm,
He plays a great sound that makes people will dance for his set, and that's important.
yeah.
Not just playing music; it's playing the dance music. That's a big part of it. you know,
Right, for sure.
and understanding. Salvador AM
Mm,
is another one. He's really under the radar. He's fresh here. He's from Colombia, but he makes great music. Very good, high
wow.
quality music.
Nice.
Um, I think that's it right now. But
Yeah.
everybody's fire. But the ones that are really local right here that I feel are gonna be doing some great things.
Yeah, no, man, that's awesome. And shout out to all of those artists. Keep doing your thing, keep putting in work. Because one of the things that I always want to do is I always also want to give that platform to, artists, producers, anybody who's out there grinding. So I always like to see, who's making a wave in that city.
Oh yeah, man. You look at them and you look at what they're doing. You start with Alejandro. You'll see, guy's a
Yeah,
beat. Guy's a monster.
man, that's awesome. All right, man. So moving a little bit more into what we've been talking about with the leadership and just the personal development and all that. How do you define hard work, and is it more about the effort or the result?
Oh wow. So my definition of hard work, right? That's the question. My definition of hard work
Yep.
is, you know, how much time you give to something. Um, you know, we are always pulled in different directions in our lives and in our daily things. And so one thing that I ask of my team is just to dedicate a little bit of time to us, and we're also very understanding, but just to give us a little bit of your time, because a little bit of your time is going to translate into more of our success,
Right.
and thankfully my team is very understanding of that. They understand that the more time they give us, the more successful we could be. Um, and you know, the end result is good. I feel like we're going to always get to the end result. Um, but I feel like doing the hard work now is, you know, will ultimately give you the better end result.
Yeah, for
So
sure. So your
what
thing
was
is
the
Yeah, so your thing is to put in that time, and basically as you put in that time and you continue with the consistency, you're going to get the result that you want.
exactly?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, man. 100%. Let me ask you this. How do you inspire those around you when morale is low?
Um, I just go back to the beginning of the why. You know, um, why are we doing this? We've had some bumps. Like a show maybe not being quite where we would expect it to be, or um, you know, equipment not working properly, and you know, it's not always easy, and not everybody's always worked on themselves, but or to the level,
Right.
but I feel like if I stay positive, calm, and collected, that translates throughout. And I figured that helps, and it has. I'll motivate them. I'll say, hey, we've got this next time coming. We're gonna do better, or we'll find a way to make it, not make that same mistake. Um,
Yeah.
More money's coming. That's been one. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
So
That's a motivator right there, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they've all seen it. They all know even anything that they do. There's, they if they give a good effort, good results, the money comes. But
Yeah, for
um,
sure. And I think that, exactly what you're just saying, leading by example. And then also I've found, and I've said this before, but one of the biggest things that the best managers that I've ever had, I feel like one of their qualities was they weren't too good to get their hands dirty and show me, by like, actually do it. You know what I mean? So you're not just expecting, like, you're not just telling me what to do and expecting me to go do it, but you're actually doing
yeah.
it with me, at least the first couple of times, until I get it. You're showing me, and then I'm like, okay, then it really clicks, and I'm like, and then I have a respect for this person, because I'm like, he's a manager, or he's the head guy, and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Oh well, I need to bust my butt even more in that case.
Oh, absolutely, man. So this last humble house for the holiday, we do a yearly house for the holidays. So we did it the last one in June or in December, and we're considering moving this one up this year. But because there's a lot of things happening in December this year now. We're considering moving it up, but we didn't have enough manpower, and so sorry, my vinyl's falling down here. Hang on. Sorry. We didn't have enough manpower, so I just had to get behind the wheel of whatever needed to be done and get it done.
Right.
And so did Sam. We stepped up. We got everything that needed to be done. Luckily, we had a great event. It was successful,
Awesome.
but man, it was a lot of work. A lot of work. But I will definitely
Yeah.
get my hands dirty with my people.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
awesome.
oh
For
yeah.
sure, man. Absolutely. Do you believe adversity is necessary for personal growth?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely got to hit something in order to. Oh, whoa. All right, adjust here. You know,
Yeah.
because if you don't, and it's smooth sailing. I mean, I, we would all love smooth sailing. We would all
Yes,
love
we
that.
would.
But um, we don't, nobody wants to be. I don't want to be complacent either. You know,
Right.
I like hitting a speed bump and being like, all right, let me recorrect and let me. That was a good check. It was a good check, and
Yeah.
now I see. You know.
Right. And there's always that quote I think about that it's like smooth sailing never made for a skilled sailor.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
it's
one.
fact. And it's fact because man, I tell you, it really is like when everything goes wrong, but then you kind of like find a way to like still get through it. And then if you ever have that situation again, it's like no big deal because you're like, oh no, I've already seen this before.
Yep. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
For sure.
I hope to take that with me in all of the events and everything that we've done so far, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure. So if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, follow my passion early. Early, early. Don't wait. Don't conform. Don't be traditional. Be who you are, be me. I wish I would have found myself before 29, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that's a great piece of advice. And for people who maybe they're too, how should I say? I don't want to say afraid, but they're too maybe caught up in what other people think about them, or maybe afraid to take a leap in doing something that they love. What would your advice be to those people?
Man, I dealt with that my whole life, and that's what kept me asleep until I was 29. So my advice would be to stop. Stop immediately. Stop caring about what they think. Stop caring about what you look like to the outside or to the different person because you're masking yourself, and it's okay to put a mask on for the people on the outside, but you got to know who you are, and if you're constantly considering what everybody else thinks about you or what they're going to think about you, then you'll just you'll be the mask from your own
Yeah.
self.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I feel like at that point too, you'll have way more regret, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't regret anything past, anything before that. I don't regret it. I just wish I would have been me during it because then there would have been, there you never know. You never know.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure, man. I feel you on that. All right, cool. So at this time now, I do have just a few more questions, but these next questions are a little bit more just like fun, just about getting to know more about you for all of our viewers here. So,
Sure.
what are some of your favorite things to do outside of DJing?
Oh man. So, um I love starting businesses and building businesses. So I love doing that. I love trying to come up with problem solving ideas for businesses. I like to be on the beach and I like hiking with my kids and cooking for
Nice,
my kids. I like cooking for my family.
nice. You
Yeah.
got some skills?
I mean, a little bit, a little bit. The
What
scratches
what?
and the toe. I really do. I can cook. I can cook pretty good.
All
I
right, all
do need
right.
to. I do need to get some different. What is it? Like different, meals under my belt. Because I probably got
Right.
about like 10, 12
Okay, all right.
maybe.
What's your signature? What's your number one?
As of late, this Korean beef I've been making has been
Ooh,
killer. Yeah, I
that
make a
sounds pretty good
Korean beef
though.
bowl. Oh
Wow.
yeah, it's so good. It's really good.
Nice, man. Yeah, bro. If we ever, if we're ever at an event or something and you make that, bro, I'm gonna have to try that for sure.
Yeah, we've been trying to put on a barbecue for the record label for a while now, but I think it's going to be happening soon.
Oh man. Well, if that does happen, bro, if you want to shoot your boy the invite, I'll come through and
I
have some of that barbecue for sure, man.
Most definitely, I got you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So here's another one. If you could develop any skill at light speed, what would you learn?
Oh, oh, yeah, that's a good one. I would say sound design, top to bottom. So synthesizer, sound design. That.
Nice.
Yeah,
Straight master producer, top one in the world.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Second though, second would be like financial sales business. You know, I mean
Yeah.
to the nines, to where I know all about business, Warren Buffett level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 for sure. That's like when you're making those. That's like when you're making those $1 million calls.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure,
Exactly.
man. For sure. What is your favorite vacation that you've ever taken?
Ooh, I'd have to say L.A. Going out to L.A. Well, it was really inspiring. Um, but also like the weed there.
I can imagine it would be pretty good, right?
Oh man, what? Oh, I got a story, but we can't tell it on here.
Nice, nice. Maybe
I'll
at the
tell you at the
barbecue.
barbecue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny, man. But okay, so
yeah.
LA was good. Did you like about it that it was like? Because I've always heard about it. I've never been there personally, but I always heard there's always something going on. Everybody's creative. There's a lot of connections and this and that.
So I didn't really get to explore the scene and the business side of it. I really
Okay.
went to go look and go see the history. I went to like the Capitol building, Capitol Records,
Mm,
which is one of the oldest record labels in our country.
yeah, yeah,
And I just went to go soak up their energy, see what they're doing. That building's huge, so
wow,
they're what I learned the thought that this is what a record label could turn into.
right,
It was mind boggling to see. You know,
yeah,
I
for sure,
saw
man.
the
I
the
can't
walk,
imagine.
the stars. The star. What's the star? This where the fame.
Yeah, where
Oh,
the
the walk.
stars are
Is
on
it
the
the
ground.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
one. That to see
yeah, that's
that, it's like
that's cool.
it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it really is, man. That's sick. I would
That
love to
that's
see that one day.
entertainment.
Yeah,
Entertainment did that.
for real. Yeah, that's awesome, man. For sure. What's something that's on your bucket list?
Japan.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice,
Japan.
man.
Africa
Nice.
second, but
Ooh.
Japan is number one.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I've heard great things. Actually, my niece is she's in the military. She's over in Japan right now in Okinawa.
Oh,
And
you
she
gotta
says
go.
it's bro, I know, man. I do gotta go. I do gotta go. I gotta go
I'm
sooner than later
serious.
too.
I'm
For
serious.
real.
Streets are clean. You can eat all the time. Don't even get me started on the party scene. You need to
Wow.
go, bro. ASAP, especially if you got a
Dang.
couch that you can lean on.
Right, right.
For
For
real.
sure, man. I'll keep that in mind, dog. I'll keep that in mind because it's your number one, so it's gotta mean something. Gotta
I'm
mean
telling
something.
you.
For sure, man. For sure. All right, man. Well, as we're wrapping this up, I just kind of want to know what's next for you. Any new projects or anything that you want to talk about that's going to be coming out?
Well, yeah. So the future of Humble House Records is turning itself into a full-fledged publishing company, as well as a booking. We are going to be a full-service record label. By the end of 2025, um, we're going to have an artist development department. We're going to have a publishing department, as well as a sync department. Within the publishing.
Yeah.
We are fully going music 100%, in every avenue, every factor, every faction, every part of this world, we're going to put ourselves in. And by the end of 2025, thank you. And by the end of 2025, I see that we will be selling our music directly in Asia, Europe, um, and in the Middle East. By the time we're done at 2025.
That's big, man. I'm excited for you. That sounds crazy.
Thank you, man. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of business research. I've been doing on, what makes the music industry turn. And I feel like, after, there's always that processing period, of information. And I feel like by the end of 2025, we'll be fully implemented in all of that.
Man, that's sweet, dude. Well, I'm definitely excited to see your progression and to hear how all of that goes. So where can people find you and connect with you online?
Yeah, everything is at Humble House Records. You can go to humblehouseradio.com. That's a radio station that we're putting on. I've always thought that house music and EDM should be on the radio more. So we were on FM, but we will be back on FM soon. We transferred everything over to the internet, and we will be going back to FM as well soon enough. But humblehouseradio.com or Humble House Records everywhere.
Absolutely. So make sure to go check out Humble House Records, guys. I'm going to make sure to put all the links in the description of this video. Again, I want to thank you so much, DJ Keytone, for coming on. Everybody who's watching, I want to thank you so much again for checking out the Hustle Coast podcast, and we'll be seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man.
You stay with me.